They called them logs, not prisoners, not people. Logs, and when they were used up, they were burned. What you're about to hear is not a horror story. It's a history lesson, one that most governments spent decades trying to erase. By the end of this video, you will understand why the men who committed some of the worst atrocities in human history walked free, and why America helped them do it. This is Unit 731. On the morning of September 18, 1940, a 36-year-old Chinese farmer named Wei Zhongshan was dragged from his home outside Harbin, northern China. He had done nothing wrong. He was healthy, strong, exactly what they needed. He never made it to trial, never saw a prison cell. He was delivered, bound and blindfolded, to a complex disguised as a water purification plant, run by a unit the world would later call the Asian Auschwitz. Inside, 3,000 staff in white coats were waiting. Unit 731 was born from a single man's obsession. General Shirō Ishii, a microbiologist and Japanese Army officer, had read the 1925 Geneva Protocol banning biological weapons and come to a chilling conclusion. If the whole world agreed to ban something, it must work. By 1936, Ishii had convinced Japan's Emperor Hirohito to fund the world's most sophisticated biological warfare program, built on a site in occupied Manchuria, disguised as a lumber mill. Here's what's disturbing about that cover story. Workers at the facility were actually called lumberjacks, and their test subjects called marutas. In Japanese, that means logs. At its peak, the Pingfang complex covered 6 square kilometers. It had its own railway, its own airport, its own prison, and its own crematorium, running day and night. What happened inside those walls defies comprehension. Prisoners, Chinese, Russian, Korean, Mongolian, were infected with bubonic plague, cholera, anthrax, and typhoid. Not injected, exposed, made to breathe it in, eat food laced with it. Dr. Yoshimura Hisato had a special interest in freezing temperatures. He would hold prisoners' limbs in ice water until a solid layer of ice formed over the skin, then study what happened when those limbs were reattached or removed without anesthesia. Others had limbs removed and reattached in different positions, organs extracted while alive, blood replaced with animal blood, to see how long a body could survive. But here's the part that changes everything you just heard. When the war ended and Allied forces discovered Unit 731, none of these men were punished. Not one. And the reason why comes down to a deal made in secret between Ishii and a man most Americans consider a hero. In August 1945, with Soviet forces closing in and Japan's defeat imminent, Ishii ordered the Pingfang facility destroyed. Records burned, equipment dismantled, survivors executed, so there would be no witnesses. Then Ishii flew to Tokyo and waited. By October 1945, American General Douglas MacArthur, Supreme Commander of Allied powers, was in negotiations with Ishii's men. The deal was simple. Hand over all research data, and we will give you full immunity from war crimes prosecution. The United States wanted the biological weapons data purchased with the suffering of at least 3,000 prisoners. Data the Americans concluded would take at least 10 years and $5 million to replicate through legal experiments. And so, the scientists of Unit 731 returned to civilian life. Many became doctors, professors. A few became heads of pharmaceutical companies that still exist today. Shirō Ishii died in 1959 of natural causes in Tokyo, age 67. 12 members were eventually tried, but not by the Americans. By the Soviets at the Khabarovsk trials in 1949. Maximum sentence, 25 years. Most were released by 1956. In 2002, 180 survivors and their families filed a case in a Tokyo court demanding an apology. The court ruled against them. In 2018, 73 years after the war ended, the Japanese government finally released the names of 3,607 Unit 731 members. No apology, no reparations. We talk about World War II as a story with clear heroes and clear villains. We built museums. We held trials. We said, never again. But in a quiet office in Tokyo in 1945, the most powerful nation on earth made a calculation. That some knowledge was worth more than some justice. The logs were burned. The scientists walked free. And the deal, classified for decades, was kept. The only question left is this. If the same choice came again tomorrow, would we make a different one?